Hi, you're listening to Childless and Moving Onward. This is the place where we talk about thriving in life when you're a woman who is childless, not by choice, regardless of the road that brought you to childlessness. Welcome to episode 48 of Childless and Moving Onward. I'm your host, Gail Miller. I'm a physician, life coach, and speaker. And today I'm diving into the topic of challenge. Not the challenge it is being childless when you don't want to be, and yes, it is. Instead, this is about you doing the challenging. It's about you challenging yourself, your limiting beliefs that you have about yourself because you're childless, not by choice. Now, be ready. It will be an emotional roller coaster because we're going to be navigating through some vulnerability, some realizations that are difficult, maybe even some lightheartedness. But we're going to unpack those self-imposed barriers and explore how to reframe your childless journey and your view of yourself. So be ready to question assumptions you've made about yourself, assumptions others have made about you, and also be ready to be open to new perspectives, because that is going to help you unlock your potential beyond motherhood. So this episode is about transforming your inner narrative and stepping into a more empowered version of yourself. So keep your mind open, listen with your heart, and let's get started on this adventure of self-discovery and personal growth. I decided to talk about this because I have heard endless disparaging remarks. I've seen endless disparaging remarks from women who are childless not by choice. I'm not talking about the stuff we hear, the nonsense we hear from other people. I'm talking about those of us in the community experiencing childlessness and the self-deprecating, the self-disparaging comments, the harmful comments, which are really thoughts about yourselves. I hear it from clients when we start our work together. I hear it from women in support groups, in social media groups. They're endless. But here's just a few comments like, I'm a failure. I'm worthless. I'm nothing if I'm not a mom. I'm incomplete. I have no value. I've failed as a, and then fill in the blank, partner, daughter, granddaughter. Being childless is my identity. My achievements mean nothing compared to raising children. And I've even heard I'm not a real woman. Now, the really sad part about this is that's just a start of a list. Truly, the comments that so many of you make about yourselves are so harmful, and the reality is none of it is true. But we believe it all to our detriment. And it's to our detriment because when we fill ourselves with these self-limiting beliefs, it lowers our self-esteem. It increases stress. It limits opportunities for us and decreases motivation, because if all you see is I'm not enough, I'm a loser, I'm a failure, then you don't see that there's opportunities out there. You don't feel like what's the point? I'm a failure, so why even try? And it encourages self-sabotage so that you tell yourself I'm a failure, and you're going to look for ways to prove that to yourself. And ultimately, it gets in the way of finding satisfaction in life. But that's just a start. A really important negative effect is that with self-limiting beliefs, we're unknowingly telling ourselves lies that reinforce negative thought patterns and perpetuate feelings of unworthiness. Limiting beliefs, those beliefs about ourselves that we tell, the thoughts we have about ourselves that tell us, you can't do this, you're not good enough, they reinforce those negative thought patterns. And what results is this self-perpetuating cycle. So here's how they work. Limiting beliefs become self-fulfilling prophecies. So our thoughts shape our behaviors. And then those behaviors reinforce the thoughts. A thought like, I'm a failure, will drain your motivation. If you have no motivation, are you going to pursue passions? Are you going to set goals or try to achieve them? No. The result is you don't move forward with achievements. So the thought of I'm a failure kind of becomes true. Like you're telling yourself, yeah, I don't accomplish anything. That becomes more evidence for your brain so that you continue to see yourself as a failure. And that then becomes a core identity for you, and a fixed mindset that you'll end up seeing as something you are not able to change. Where did these ideas about being a woman without children come from? Where did it become the norm to see being childless as a failure? That it's the only thing that's of value in life is being a mom. So really stop and think about where these ideas come from. Is it something that came inherently from you? Or could it be something that's become so ingrained in you from outside influences, whether it's immediate family, your smaller community, the wider community, society? The belief that childlessness equals failure has roots in long-standing social and cultural norms. For ages, society has placed a high value, in fact, I would say all value, on being a parent. It isn't seen as just a crucial part of identity, but that it's all that identity should be based on. And then this mindset has been reinforced by religious teachings across religions. I'm not singling out any particular one or religion in general. It's just that across religions that has reinforced this mindset. It's also been perpetuated through economic systems where children were viewed in the past as essential for family survival, but that mentality, while it's not directly thought of now, it still underlies everything economically. So we may not see these specific influences glaringly today because the influences have morphed, but they have stayed on as part of religious, economic, community-wide culture. So over time, these ideas have become deeply ingrained. So much so that it's led many to equate having children with success and fulfillment. And not just that, but that it's the only way to fulfillment. Think about it. What accomplishments get blasted at your job or in your social circles or family units? Along with engagements and marriages come pregnancy and birth announcements. You bought a home? Oh, gee, that's nice, in a half-hearted and less than genuine tone. You're backpacking along the Appalachian Trail? Wow, that's amazing. You've quilted and donated blankets to a local shelter? Okay, nice. Then quickly the conversation becomes about Sarah's pregnancy or little Timmy's finger painting, and your accomplishment turns to a faded memory, if that. Did it even enter into anybody's consciousness? Probably not. Why? Because society values parenthood above all else, while viewing childlessness as a shortcoming or a deviation from normal. So is it any wonder that you've come to believe that for yourself? And that you can only see your worth through those standards? Is it any wonder that you think incorrectly that you're a failure or inadequate or any of the other crappy and false thoughts that you have about your worth? Byron Katie is an American self-help author. She's a speaker and a teacher. She's best known for developing something called the work. And the work is a technique of self-inquiry with the goal of challenging limiting beliefs. Now, she formulated this after a transformative mental awakening following years of severe depression. And what it is a way to liberate your mind, to free it of those limiting beliefs, those thoughts that get in the way of you feeling good about yourself, and that often have been ingrained in us by society, not because they're true, not because we deserve to think those thoughts. So the 4 questions of the work, the first 2 are what I'm going to talk about. And the first is it true? The second question is, can you absolutely know that it's true? And the purpose of those 2 questions is to encourage opening your mind to alternative possibilities and to recognize the harm that's caused by rigid thinking patterns. Now, for a long time, I had those same harmful thoughts about myself. I'm of less value. I'm incomplete. I don't have anything to offer this world because I'm not a mom. I was so wrong. And I learned to break that cycle. And you can as well. But it first starts with disrupting these patterns by asking yourself, is it true? Is it factual? Based on what fact am I of less value? Not what other people have told you or messages from society. What is the fact that I am of less value? It's not a fact. It's what we've been told. That doesn't make it a fact, though. You don't have to continue to take on what society says. At one time, society said the earth was flat. Now, if you're a flat earther, sorry, I'm not going to debate that, and I'm not the person for you. And this podcast is not the podcast for you because the earth is not flat. Yet that's what was believed incorrectly. So just because society views parenthood as the norm and not being a parent as less than doesn't make it true. It doesn't make it fact. So you start with first identifying and challenging those beliefs. Ask yourself, is this belief factual or is it based on others' messages? Recognize how that belief affects you and your view of your self-worth. Write it out. See what those false beliefs are doing to you. And then reframe the beliefs by replacing them. So replace I'm incomplete or less valuable as a person without children with my worth isn't tied to roles or titles. Replace I've failed as a partner or family member by not continuing the lineage with legacy isn't just biological. I was at a funeral not long ago, and he did have children and grandchildren. But the thing is, the majority of the eulogy, like 99% of it, was about this person's accomplishments and contributions to the community as a whole. The people they quoted in the eulogy were not family members, but others who this man's actions had impacted. You don't have to be a parent to leave a legacy, to make an impact. So take those reframed beliefs and visualize yourself feeling those. Imagine it. Take one belief and imagine it and really feel it in your body. Step into that new belief by taking action that's aligned with it. Show yourself that legacy is more than biologic. Create a legacy project. For instance, plant a community garden, host a holiday dinner for friends, neighbors, or coworkers without family close by. It doesn't have to be fancy. Host a dinner for people who otherwise would be alone. Make an impact on others in that way. You don't have to be a mom to do that. And stop the negative self-talk. When it happens, simply stop it. Stop and notice it. Pay attention. Okay. I will do that especially if I'm in a mood where the pain of childlessness is hitting me and I drop something. And of course, I'll say, you're so stupid. No, I'm not. So I say it, it comes out, and then I realize it, and I stop. I notice it. And I recognize it for what it is. It's my pain. And I'm taking it out on me, as if I don't have enough pain already, right? No, I don't need to take it out on me. I'm not stupid just because I dropped something. So when you do the negative self-talk, stop as you're saying it and just notice it. Then learn to reframe it, right? I drop something. Instead of saying I'm stupid, I reframe it. Fell out of my hand. I'm not stupid. And I'm certainly not stupid because I dropped something. It broke? Okay, I'll replace it. I'll glue it back together. And celebrate every accomplishment and any progress. It doesn't matter the size. You paid it forward at the coffee shop for somebody's coffee? Acknowledge it. Somebody in the mall needed direction. Where's this store? You helped them out. Acknowledge it. Remind yourself of this new belief on a regular basis. And use affirmations to reinforce that. I'm good enough. I am enough. Create new habits that support the new belief. It really is possible to dismantle limiting beliefs. It's possible to establish healthier thought patterns by following these strategies instead of believing what society has told you about your potential. You are enough. You are not a failure. You are more than just your childlessness. All right, that's it for today. I'll be back with you next week. I appreciate you listening. If you liked this episode, help get the word out to others who are looking for this same help by giving it a 5-star rating, and please take 2 minutes to leave a meaningful review. It's easy to do. Just scroll down to the ratings and review section and tap on the stars to rate the show and tap on write a review. I greatly appreciate it, and you'll be helping others out too. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.